Hello and welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. I am Autumn Ashley and today I will be outlining 3 different endings to my story. So a quick mini little recap for anybody who is jumping in, but it's also been a couple of weeks since I filmed my last video, and in my last video I was finishing Act 2 of Draft 1, which is so freaking exciting, and I still can't even get over that because it's the farthest I've ever gotten writing any type of story or novel, anything that is like a true novel that's not a short story. So it was a huge milestone for me and I was just over the moon excited. With all of that excitement came a little bit of fear, where now I have stepped into the unknown. Like Frozen 2 when Elsa is singing Into the Unknown. I am afraid what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. Kind of how I feel, because I've never written an Act 3 before, or something that I would consider an Act 3. So in all of my excitement of finishing an Act 1 and Act 2, surviving Act 2, which was a mess, I'm surprised we made it through. It was getting sticky there for a little bit. I didn't think we were gonna make it, but we did. Here we are. We're pushing through to Act 3, and now, like how everybody gets that little bit of fear and you're kind of scared because you don't know, you're just kind of floating through space, and your story changed a lot since your first outline, and you're afraid that you're just gonna kind of stay in orbit forever and write Act 3 for 20 years. Well, I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do today, I am going to just, on these cute little blank sheets of paper, I am going to write 3 different endings. I've never done something like this before, so I think this will be a fun experiment to keep my mind open and to think about different things that could possibly be happening in the story, and then also reflect on what I've written. And I want to go back and look at my outline. I've written 2 outlines. I have my original outline and my revised outline, so I'm gonna actually look at both of those to see how my original story, the very original story, was going to be, how my revised outline is, and how my story is currently. I'm going to come up with 3 different endings based off of everything that has happened throughout the entire process. And I'm doing this because I have that fear that I'm gonna start writing Act 3 and I'm going to think about it way too much, because I'm one of those people where I always have to think 7 steps ahead instead of just worrying about what's happening right now. So this is me trying to think ahead for future Autumn, where she can refer to 3 possible different endings that are going to happen. Hello. Sorry, my cat's peeking at me. 3 different endings that could potentially be something. So if I end up getting stuck, or I think maybe the ending that I have in my revised outline might not be the right fit, I can look and see what could be a good fit for at least Draft 1. I know it's probably going to end up changing 8 zillion times before it's concrete and set in stone, but I do think in order to kind of keep pushing forward for me, I want to make sure that I have a really good understanding that we at least get this Draft 1 done. I have heard that it is definitely not smooth sailing after you finish your first draft, because you have to go through all of like the revision stuff, the editing and world building, and pretty much everything all over again that we've done from the beginning. But I have to get the first draft written first in order to start fixing and editing anything. We need to write something, and we need to have something somewhat cohesive. This is a long, drawn-out intro to say that I am going to be doing that. I am going to talk a little bit about each of the potential endings that I have without spoilers. So I've got this, and I have my colored pens that I'm going to be using to work through this. Let's go ahead and start doing this, and I will check in and update you guys and kind of walk you through what I have been doing. This is actually really funny. So I already had to start over because I wrote in the wrong color. This is how we're gonna do this. I have my little grid and I'm going to put my first ending here, which is going to kind of reflect that revised outline. And in the middle, I am going to do the one that would be most likely with the story that would the mess of a story. That's Act 1 and 2. We are going to see if I can how that ending looks compared to this first ending that I have on the revised outline. And then based off of the revised outline, the story, the hot mess of the story that I love so much, see how that's going and compare it to the very original outline that I have and see if we can come up with another type of ending that would still be where everything that I've written wouldn't have to be scrapped. I hope this is making sense. This is an interesting concept. I've actually never done something like this. I don't feel like I'm doing more work. I feel like where my story's at right now, I really like it, but I want to make sure I don't write myself into a hole. And that's like, that is my fear. And I think that fear comes from when I was writing my draft 0 of the story that we don't speak of. And I think of that and I'm just like, what if I'm just afraid that I wrote myself into a hole again, which I know is not true. It's fine. That's why we revise. That's why we go through a story, and that's why we don't publish our first draft. So right now I'm pulling up all of my Google documents for my story, and I will go through everything, and I did pull out colors for each ending. The reason I want to write this out versus putting it in a Google Doc, I feel like it will help me think about it in a different way versus just slapping words down on a keyboard right now. And I think it'll help me slow down and think about what I'm actually writing and think about how it's going to further the story along. That's why I'm writing it out, and I'm pretty excited to see how all of this is going to go. I'm a plotter, which is why we're here, and I love to be organized. Again, I like to be 6 steps ahead or 7 steps ahead of everything before I get to that point. No wonder I'm always so stressed out. I have my revised outline pulled up and I have my first draft pulled up. Just looking at that first page of your first draft ever is just so nice. The 3 colors I'm going to write in, I have pink, which is going to be from my revised outline, and this blue is kind of like a navy blue color is going to be from my draft. And I have a purple color, and that's going to be maybe kind of like the hodgepodge of the revised outline, the original outline, and the draft 1. This is going to require some pretty heavy thinking. I will get back to you guys after I contemplate a little bit, and I will tell you guys what I'm thinking, where my mind's going, and I will see you soon. She almost fell. You okay, baby? I have finished working on the first ending, which could be the ending from the revised outline, and I like it. Like I really like this ending, and I think I think I'm really gonna like all 3 of the endings. My biggest thing is which one is going to really fit into the story. We're going to keep pushing forward. I think this is a good idea. I like to at least know what the ending is, and I have put a few points before to try to help once I'm actually writing the story, how to try to line it up to get that ending depending on what direction the story is going to end up going. I like the bullet points that I'm doing and the bullet points leading up to the ending that I wrote, but it's more of like hitting the highlights of the things that I want to actually happen. It stayed pretty much the same as what I have in my outline. However, there are some like minor things that I've changed based off of the story that I have written so far. I think this next one is going to be kind of fun because this one should kind of line up with the story with the draft one that I've already written, kind of what I have been thinking how the story could end, which is really awesome for my revised outline ending. Originally, I had a main character-ish, not really a main character, but one of like the supporting characters, I guess. I had one of them actually dying. And when you're a writer, you like killing off people. However, I kept it in there, but I don't think I like that ending. I don't think it makes sense for that character to die. I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. I still wrote it down anyways because anything can happen. It's an option. We're trying to be open-minded here, and we're trying to be forgiving because it is just draft one and we want to at least have something written, but something somewhat cohesive. And that's what I keep trying to tell myself. It's draft one. Don't get too overwhelmed. Don't freak yourself out and think that what I'm doing is wrong because it's not. It's my process. We're surviving, and this is how we're gonna finish the Act 3. Since I've started writing my story, it has definitely changed from the outline, which is fine. That's awesome, honestly. This next one that I'm going to write, this next ending, is the one that I've been kind of lining the story up to have this kind of ending, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be kind of fun to actually write it out because I haven't written this out yet. It's just been something that's kind of been boiling in the back of my mind where, oh, I think I can line the story up to end this way, which I really like that ending because it's what I've been thinking of for a while. So I'm going to write down some of those key points and kind of jot down the highlights that I want to happen. Let's see if it makes as much sense written down as much as it makes in my head. So I have started writing ending number 3, which would be a mashup of the first ending, which kind of follows my revised outline, as well as the ending 2, where draft 1 is kind of lined up to head, if the possibility that we're not able to kind of rein the story back to the first outline. Ending 3 being the mashup of both the first two endings. I like it. Kind of. There are plot holes if we go that way for Act 1 and 2. But it would be an interesting ending, to say the least. I don't know if it would be the best ending, but it's a possibility. It's something that if we decide to go down this road, at least for draft 1, I think it would be okay. I don't think it would be a bad way to end the story. I think it would be unexpected, but it might not be the best. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. I spent a good bit of time working on all 3 of these endings, and I like them. I think that they have potential, at least for this first draft, and we will obviously circle back to it once I finish my Act 3. I hope you did enjoy this. If you've ever re-outlined the ending of a story, let me know. Let me know I'm not alone. Thank you guys so much for everything. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.